This is the Fearless Launching Show. I'm your host, Anne Samoilov. Today we're going to be talking about something you can assign to your team today. And this is going to make your launches a whole lot easier. If that sounds interesting, I'll see you on the inside. The Fearless Launching Show was created to answer the question, how can I launch my big idea to the world in the most simple, straightforward way possible and reach more of the right people? I'm your host, Anne Samoilov, and I've been helping 6- and 7-figure business owners launch for over a decade. And while I love geeking out about improving launches, new launch strategies, what's working, what's not working, I'm also obsessed with exploring the heart, the mind, the challenges of running your own business. And that's what we're going to do each and every week. I want to show you how to launch that course or coaching program or other creative work and navigate the journey of being an online entrepreneur. So if you're ready for some new perspectives, some new stories around launching, well, I can't wait to share those with you. Let's get into today's episode. Welcome back to another episode of the Fearless Launching Show. So let's dive in. Getting organized and staying organized during a launch is one of the single most important things to do. And it's also one of the most challenging things to do, especially when you've got lots of things to track. I mean, you've got your project map, you've got your emails, you've got your promo images, you've got webinar slides, you've got outlines, you've got notes, maybe you've even got your product and program you're creating. You've got your challenge to set up, your worksheets, opt-in pages, thank you pages, sales pages, so many things. And at first glance, though, it might not seem like a problem. So what? You've got all these things, you've got a bunch of things, but that's part of a launch, right? But as your team grows, as you relaunch multiple times, as your student enrollments increase, you'll start to look for stuff, okay? I know this because I look for stuff. And first it'll be a webinar outline that you created a year ago and you're like, you know what? I feel like I said that thing that I want to say right now in this part of the webinar. I wonder where that is. And instead of just maybe doing a search, you actually spend a lot of time going through your emails and your Google Docs and all of the places to find something that you never find. Or maybe it'll be a newsletter where you mentioned or said something in a certain way, or you have a series of newsletters you sent out during your launch or something, and you just want to grab those and republish them as blog posts. Okay, you don't find them. You're not sure, or it takes a while to find them. Then here's another place. Your launches could potentially change and morph so that you are doing more things now as you lead up to and open the doors to your programs. You'll just have more stuff to look at. And so this is why I highly recommend everyone create a launch hub. We used to call it the launch Bible, but I'm not a fan of that. I'd like to keep it like, this is the hub. This is where everyone goes to find all the information. And at its core, it's really just a big spreadsheet. At its core, okay? You have one for your launch pieces. You might have another spreadsheet that's for your program or course pieces, or maybe your service, like what's in that. But that way you always know the basics of where to find things, and you'll keep track of all the Google Docs, the software you use, links to pages. And it's a simple and really a powerful way to just click on a button, and then you'll see everything. You'll see where everything is and what the status of everything is, all in one spot. You could even do, and this is what I've done on launches over the years, is you build an entire folder in your Google Drive and just start dragging things in there. Okay. The Google Drive was and still is really where I do this, but I've also added Notion and Asana to the mix because Asana helps me build out templates. And we talked about this last week about doing your weekly review, but I usually create templates for things. And inside Asana tasks, you can actually not embed, but kind of insert Google Docs. Great way not to lose anything. And even if you don't plan, well, I don't want to say that because I want you to use these over and over again, but it really gives you kind of like a living document a living kind of space that tells the story of what you launched and how you launched it and what you did and what graphics you used. And believe me, over time, this can be such an important kind of place to go and access and have access to. So, you can use, like I said, you can use Notion, which is also a great place to just create. You can create spreadsheets in Notion. You can create other things in there as well, other views. And I've talked about that before. I may have to do some sort of episode about using Notion for a launch, but it's only because I usually use my launch templates that are in Asana to manage and kind of track what's going on in my launches that I don't do that. But if you are interested, definitely let me know. I could possibly create something short on how to use Notion during your launches. Okay. Let's talk about what's going to go into our hub, because really it's just a collection of all the stuff we're using and we might need to access. So you're going to have links to any Google Docs that are created about launch related stuff. You're going to have your launch emails and those Google Docs, a tools list, your teams list, maybe like a team contact list, webinar outlines, maybe your slides, maybe your affiliate graphics or the affiliate mailing plan or whatever else you want in there that you might need to access quickly and easily. You definitely want a one sheet in this. If it's like a Google folder, you want to have one Google spreadsheet with links to everything. You need this. You really do. You might have meeting notes that you want to save. And what I like to do is as soon as I create it, even if it's a blank document, I like to make sure that it's actually in the right space. I want it to be in the hub right away. I don't want to have to find this stuff after the fact. And believe me, I have done that. I mean, I've been launching Fearless Launching and just other things since 2012. And so I've gone back. I have like a 2014 Fearless Launching launch folder, and I just started dragging stuff in there. But I did that in 2016, which was nuts that I waited that long. Anyways, you're also going to have at least a link to your project map or your project planning, whatever it is, note where it is, what it is, all of that. Anything you can put that you might need to access or someone else might need to access, okay? You can, like I said, even put things like your team contact information, maybe even like, now this might not be something you want to do, but it just depends on what your team is and how you're set up. But you might also want just a spreadsheet. This might be just for you, okay? Where you put like your expenses, your launch expenses, your sales goals, maybe how much you're spending on your team or how much you're paying your team. But then in the more public folder files for your team, you could have a place where extra ideas get put and prioritized. Maybe your list of your VIP promoters and affiliates and their contact information. Maybe a spreadsheet of all related podcasts or content you can share during your launch, or maybe podcasts you'll be a guest on. So you get to choose those things. Also, something really helpful to put in there is if you've ever done a mind map or just some sort of, it could actually just be a document where you write about your customer, your ideal customer. But regardless, keeping a record of everything that is happening during your launch is super helpful. Put everything in one place or link to where everything lives. This becomes the document, the database for your launch. Make sure you name it for the month and the year where you did it. So if you need to hire an extra person or you get sick or someone needs to jump in to help you, everything is all in one place. Okay. Make sure this is easily accessible by your entire team or anyone you hire to work with on the launch, or a project manager. This is great for them, even if you don't think they need the info. Okay, so let me tell you some of my favorite tools. I've kind of already shared those with you, but I used to use just Google Sheets and have a big folder in Google Drive where I pull everything. But I also am now experimenting with Notion, because it's been great working with clients who have it as their wiki, kind of like their internal documentation and different things like that. I love Notion because of that. So I really highly recommend checking it out. And you can actually do a lot of research, like how to create a Notion wiki. Also, you have a sheet that has basically, like, I have a sheet that has all my links, and they do link out to Asana, to Google Drive. So all of these things can work together. Just choose where you want your hub and start linking them out. Okay. So that's it. Today's episode is super short. I want to just come in and out, make your hub, blah, blah, blah. But stay tuned. This is also really important. This hub is just one part of the breakthrough launch system I'm going to be helping people create in my newly revamped, I cannot even believe it. Oh my God, I'm getting goosebumps right now. Launch Incubator. That's a good thing, right? Launch Incubator. I'm going to be hosting a live private training in just a few weeks. And if you want an invite to that, all you have to do is apply. And I'm going to put you that link right in the show notes for you so you can go check that out. But, this is just one of the pieces of the system that will help you actually start improving your launches. And if you've been launching or running your business in a way that it doesn't really feel like it's growing or improving, or maybe it's declining, then you want to dig in to this systemization process that I've got for you. And this is just one of the pieces. Okay. So I would love to see you at this private training, and I would love to see your application come through, so that I can send you that private invite. All right. Take care. Thank you so much for being a part of the Fearless Launching community, and I will talk to you soon.